Don't just watch this movie. Watch yourself watching this movie. When you see ads and see lots of people, it drains your energy. And when you are in nature and you are in the sunshine, it fills you with energy. I love being in nature. It's the best. We are nature. And we thrive when we are surrounded by the life-supporting organisms. It's a huge snail with its head out. There's something else I was going to say. I forgot. The snail distracted me. I love the rain. Sometimes it can make plans difficult. But that's the beauty of life, is that it's always uncertain. And the rain just reminds us. And thank God for the rain to nourish all these plants. This is a sunset that you could really stare at and not think about anything. Because love for all is love for yourself. As we breathe the air from the trees, we become the trees. As we eat the food of the earth, we become the food of the earth. We realize that we are all one, interconnected. This incredible miracle of existence. And it is a miracle, the infinite number of things that had to happen for me to be here talking to you and you to be there listening were able to happen in just the right way. We are but tiny specks in a tiny speck in the galaxy, which is a tiny speck in the universe. And our lives, no more important than ants, and no less important than anyone else's, is quite simply a miracle. When I was getting rid of all my possessions and I bought a one-way ticket to India, I don't think I consciously realized it at the time, but on some level, I noticed that our jobs can be like chains, and our apartments can be like prisons, and our possessions can be like this baggage that's just weighing us down. And all of that can lead to a life and a mindset that is not free. The more things we have, the more things we're worried about losing. And some people think that I work for the World Economic Forum and I want them to own nothing and be happy because I say stuff like this, but I don't want them to own nothing. What I really want is for them to realize that happiness doesn't come from the owner. Most people think of themselves as their accomplishments, their big possessions, their job, their role in the family. But that, of course, that has nothing to do with who we really are. We would still be ourselves if we were a different job, if we were a different role in the family. And you can't hold these achievements. They're not a part of us. And there really is no past or future except which exists in the minds and memories and imaginations of people. All there is and all there ever has been is this moment. Every breath is like being born and dying. It is inviting life, and then we learn to let go of what we cling to with each breath. Welcome the moment, let it go. Invite life, let it go. Birth, death, in every breath. Time is truly timeless. You can't divide a second down and find a moment in it, because you can keep dividing that time in half and in half and in half, and you can never get to a moment because it doesn't exist in terms of time, this stream of past, present, future. There is only one moment, and it is who we are right now. And so there is nothing to cling on to, because anything real doesn't need to be clinged on to keep the illusion going. Then you instantly and forever stop identifying with these images we have of ourselves in our mind. Because what is real doesn't need a label to exist. The only way we can really ever connect with anybody is to be fully present and to see beyond the labels that we put on people. Stranger, friend, nice guy, mean guy. And we see that person in all their complexities, the good and the bad, and we just allow that to be, and we accept that person as who they are. And only by getting beyond those labels and just being fully present, giving our full attention to someone, we can truly connect with them. Moment to moment, I really don't identify as anything. I don't have a constructed image of myself I carry with me. But there are times when I need to describe myself to a driver picking me up or something. So I'll use the labels I know will communicate well. I'm just gonna walk around. And yeah, the more democracy, the better. I always say. Did you see the snail? Take a closer look. If it scares you, look closer. If it scares you, look closer. Trust me. Do you know what's really unbearable? Is what we think will happen in the next moment. That's what everything unbearable is only imagined. What a dragon. Woo! Isn't it great? These ones will protect you. If you believe in the one God,
the one omnipresent God, then you believe that God is in every particle of every cell of everyone's body. Then you must believe that we are all God, part of the one God consciousness. Whatever you do to others, you do to yourself. How you treat others is a reflection of how you treat yourself.
What was that singing the other day, kid?
We're caught in a trap.
Some writers and critics who prophesize with your pen, and don't speak too soon, the chance won't come again, and accepted that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. For the times they are a-changing.
Every moment that needs your attention is this moment. Everything you need is already in the here and now. The past has never existed, and the future will never exist. There is only this moment.
And as soon as we start observing our thoughts, we see how crazy it would be to believe them all. They are repetitive, negative, often just insane things that just pop into our heads that we most of the time know don't do that actual thing. Don't literally, jump off the subway platform when you're waiting for the train just because the thought popped into your head. Anything can pop into your head. We just need to spend a little time observing the nature of the mind, and we really will see that it is a form of insanity to listen to every crazy idea that pops into our head. It's a much subtler experience to see the space between the objects, to hear the silence that allows for the sounds we perceive to arise. We are not microscopic creatures able to see microscopic nuances and subtleties, but we know that every object is mostly empty space and is pure radiating energy out of every atom inside of it. And so we don't need to limit our perspective. We don't need to only believe in what we can see because we know there's so much more. And it's not delusion to broaden our perspective. In fact, it's where all wisdom arises.
Everything that happens on infinite levels of meaning, interpretation, and points of view. Someone may say something, but they're really saying something else. And this is the nature of our reality. That story in your mind, it's the rough draft. It's malleable. And if you use your wisdom, if you can see the many layers, you can carve out Michelangelo's David. He himself said the statue was always there in the block of marble, but no one else could see it. When I was working in advertising, I asked an older writer if he had any advice for me. And he told me, don't care. At the time, I thought he was joking. I thought he was trying to get me fired. But when I looked back on my own life, all of my best writing was done when I was too busy to care. When I didn't have time to stress and overthink.
So many people are either optimists or pessimists, right? And whichever one they are, they're both certain that either something good or something bad's gonna happen. Well, I'm an I don't knowist.
When we don't try, when we don't force, and when we just flow effortlessly, everything comes to us. When we try very hard, we push the things we want away. When I quit advertising, it was scary because you wonder things like, what's next? If this fails, can I go back? Am I making the worst mistake of my life or the best decision of my life? I just knew that even if I failed, it would be spectacular. So there really wasn't a choice. The closer I was to deciding, okay, I'm going to quit my job, I'm going to go to India, I'm going to get rid of my apartment and get rid of all my belongings, I would get a job offer. I would get like a raise. I would get a promotion. And everything was like trying to keep me there. It felt like the closer I was getting to doing what I knew I needed to do, the more that allure of money and success kept trying to pull me in the other direction. When I finally told the boss I quit, he said, what can we do to get you to stay? And I said, double it. Something I knew he wouldn't say yes to. So yeah, that was my way of saying like, nothing, there's just nothing. I just gotta go. My biggest dream is for people who are suffering to realize that the story of their suffering, why they're suffering, is merely a story they are telling themselves unconsciously, and that they can consciously create a different story. From my experience, the universe is really our guide. We can sometimes feel like lives are chaotic, random, out of control. And at other times, we can feel in complete control, manifestors, creators of our destiny. But the universe is really always in control. And the universe guides us to what we need, when we need it, where we need it. And the more open we are to new opportunities or changes in plans, and not so rigid and stuck to our small perspective of how things should be, the more flexible we become, the more we flow without resistance to whatever situation comes into our lives, and new doors open up to us that we never even dreamt of. So it's important, in my opinion, to always allow the universe to teach us, to guide us, and to remember when we think something isn't going our way, that maybe something better is coming.
The ego's incessant curiosity may trick you that you must acquire more spiritual knowledge in order to become happy. So much so that we give up meditation, reflection, and introspection. We want someone to give us happiness rather than have to find it ourselves. Any guru can only point you in the direction. You must go and find that happiness for yourself. And the easiest way to really find that meaning is to stop searching for meaning. Because nothing searched for that we already have can ever be found. It is already within us. The more you chase, the further you get. Tune in to the emptiness. Recognize that there is no meaning in anything. And this will lead you to your true self. And you will see that it's not in the stuff. It all comes from you. So just flow instead of clinging or resisting. It is a much better ride. When we feel this sense of meaningless, we have to recognize that it is the longing for meaning that is getting in the way of a life of meaning and of feeling contentment and joy. We have to stop putting up walls and start opening ourselves back up to the world. Even though we know that these bodies start to decay the moment we're born, before our eyes, we don't see this decay. We see what seems like a permanent person, unchanging. We don't see the growth happen before our eyes. And like everything around us, which looks stable, it creates a deception that things last forever. And while we know conceptually that that's not true, on a subconscious level, we expect things and people to last forever exactly the way they are.
Oftentimes, people at their death have no ego. It humbles all of us. We resist it for as long as we can, but then we have to surrender and accept. And it's the ultimate letting go. And there's a spiritual lesson in there and a beauty in there.
People are changing constantly. Thoughts and emotions are changing constantly. Our dreams and fears and tastes are changing constantly. Our cells are dying and being reborn constantly. The more we simply observe our own thoughts constantly changing, constantly coming and going, the more we recognize that everything is in this state of change, then not only will death not seem so unbearable, but we will not even see it as an end, because we will understand that there is no beginning and there is no end. There is only changes. Changes in form and the flows of energy.
Of course, we suffer, we miss the person, but it's really the act of resisting, the conflict we create with it, that is what creates the suffering. It's truly a part of life, inseparable from birth. And to resist death or to cling to life is a form of insanity because it is inevitable, it is natural, and we can do our best to see the beauty in it, even while suffering, even while crying our eyes out. We can witness the miracle of death just as we witness the miracle of birth. But I know that whether we're here for one day or 100 years, every breath is a gift. We had life, and it was precious. And the only difference really is how fully present were we for those moments.
There is no moment of death that we can pinpoint. It is a gradual process, a shift. When we realize that there's really no single moment you're born, there's no single moment you die, then we can really take peace and solace in the fact that nothing's ever gone.
When you let go of every mistake, even every triumph, and you just be fully present, then there is nothing to carry on your shoulders to weigh you down. One thing we can do is remember that we are specks of dust in an infinite universe, these physical bodies. Specks of dust in this 15 billion year old universe. Does not matter what our bank account is, if our nose is perfect, or if our lips are big enough. We are significantly insignificant.
Typically, whatever we're searching for already lies within us. Most of our action is based on seeking pleasure and avoiding pain. And we think that that's the happiness we're looking for. And we go on an endless pursuit of it for most of our lives. But I do think that the real source is within us.
There is only this moment. Everything that ever happened in the present moment. And everything that will ever happen will happen in the present moment. All life exists only in the present moment. And in fact, we are the entire universe at this moment. The dance of life playing out in all its beauty. exactly as it's supposed to.